Everybody thinks the wealthy families in Dallas live in Highland Park. And if we're talking about the 10, 20, or $30 million estates, yeah, a lot of that is going to be in Highland Park and University Park. That's not breaking news. But here's the part that no one really talks about. Some of the wealthiest families we know, the ones who could live there, don't. And that is by design.
We have friends who live in one of the Dallas communities that we're going to be talking about today. They also have a second home on 38 that they just sold, and now they're building a home in Montana. Another family that we know lives in a gated community here in our town, and they also own a beachfront home on 30A, as well as a waterfront retreat in Montana. Now, these families aren't putting all their wealth into one Dallas address, they're building a lifestyle.
So today we're going to show you where the wealthy families actually choose to live in the Dallas suburbs. We'll start with the well-known luxury suburb, then move into areas that fly under the radar.
And the last one, it doesn't show up on a lot of the wealthiest places to live in Dallas lists, but it definitely should.
Let's address the obvious first. If you're looking at a home above $10 million in GFW, you're probably most likely looking in Highland Park and University Park. Legacy wealth, prime location, established prestige. But what about the families who want a $3 to $10 million home and also want flexibility? A second home, more land, newer construction, more relaxed environment with a little more space. That's where the suburbs start to become a great option.
Let's start with Southlake. This is probably the most recognized luxury suburb outside of the Dallas proper. If someone says, we want luxury, but we don't want to be in the middle of Dallas, Southlake is usually the first place that they look. The median home price in Southlake right now is about 1.3 million. The most recently closed sale was just under 13 million, and currently the most expensive home on the market is around 24 million, which is a brand new estate sitting on more than 8 acres. Now, what separates Southlake isn't just price, it's demand consistency. Even when the broader market slows, Southlake's upper end tends to move because families aren't just buying a house, they're buying the schools, the upscale shopping, the restaurant scene, and the strong community culture.
You'll see large estate homes here, established neighborhoods, some gated sections, and a very strong resale history, especially in certain pockets. It attracts a very particular type of family.
Now, families who typically choose Southlake are looking for top tier performing schools. Southlake Carroll ISD is one of the biggest drivers of demand. Test scores are consistently among the highest in the state. Athletics are very competitive, and college placement is strong. A lot of buyers aren't just purchasing a home, they're positioning their kids in a very high performing academic or sports environment. A strong community identity is another thing that draws families here. Southlake has a clear culture. Friday night football matters. Parent involvement is high. Even the town square Christmas celebration and seasonal festivals bring families together. It feels connected, and that matters when you're raising kids. Also, the proximity to DFW Airport is about 10 to 15 minutes. So, for executives, business owners, and families who travel often, that convenience is huge. You can be door to terminal quickly without living in the middle of airport traffic. Now, upscale shopping and restaurants. Southlake Town Square is the anchor, but there are high end dining and retail options throughout the city. You don't have to leave town to enjoy a nice night out. Also, large traditional estate homes, typically on quarter acre to half acre lots, and sometimes larger. Most of the luxury inventory was built in the late 90s and early 2000s, which means mature neighborhoods and established landscaping. At the same time, there is some newer construction and tear down rebuild activity in select pockets, giving buyers both established and modern options.
Southlake gives you prestige without the Dallas density. It has a reputation for excellence, strong academics, strong athletics, highly involved parents. You're surrounded by driven families.
And for many buyers, that combination is exactly what they're looking for. Some families look at Southlake and think, this checks most of the boxes, but we'd really like to be closer to the water and outdoor activities. And that's where this next area really stands out.
And by the way, if you're trying to decide between these areas, at this price point, small differences in neighborhoods, lot sizes, and resale history can mean a big difference in the long term. If you want help sorting through which area actually fits your lifestyle, reach out. We're always happy to talk you through your options. All right, let's go ahead and keep going.
Only 15 to 20 minutes to the DFW airport, Flower Mound surprises people. Most people don't automatically think of $4 million or $5 million homes when they think of Flower Mound, but they're here and they're very impressive.
The median home sales price in Flower Mound is around $620,000. But that number doesn't tell the full story because there are clearly defined luxury pockets here. The most expensive home currently on the market is around $10 million, located inside a gated community on Lake Grapevine. And along the lake, there are several gated communities where $3 million and above estates are the norm, not the exception.
We recently toured an $8 million estate in the Landing that backs directly to the Corps of Engineers property and the lake. It sits on about 2 acres with a large yard, mature trees for privacy, and over 10,000 square feet of interior living space. It's a stunning home, completely updated with a resort style backyard, the kind of property where you feel like you're on vacation, but you're actually at home. In Flower Mound, luxury tends to center around two lifestyle options: estate homes near the lake or built around private golf course living. So if you want that golf course living, you're probably looking at estates at Tour 18, which is a guarded, gated golf course community with estate level homes. Now, here's why wealthy families choose Flower Mound. They have direct access to Lake Grapevine. You've got boating, trails, water views, and homes that back to natural terrain instead of just another subdivision. You also have extensive parks and trail systems. Flower Mound is actually known for its green space, the hiking and biking trails, neighborhood parks. So families who want their kids outside, riding bikes, playing sports, and walking to the parks, they value that heavily. You also have the larger estate style lots in key areas, particularly near the lake and in select custom neighborhoods. Homes often sit on lots that provide a nice separation from your neighbors. You also have strong public schools within the Louisville ISD. Families move here for the combination of academic performance and the overall family oriented atmosphere.
And for families who already own a property elsewhere, Flower Mound often becomes home base. It's established, it's high quality, but not overexposed. And it doesn't feel like it's trying to compete with anyone else. But then there are some wealthy Dallas families who say, if we're going suburban, let's take advantage of what suburban living can really offer.
Now, we're talking acreage, Argyle and Bartonville. If you look on the map, these towns sit just north of Flower Mound and west of Highland Village, about 30 to 40 minutes from DFW Airport, depending on traffic. So you're still connected, but you're not in the center of suburban density anymore. This is a completely different definition of luxury. You're not buying proximity to retail, you're buying land.
Now, here's what's interesting. The median home price in Argyle is around $575,000. That sounds very different from Southlake or Bartonville at first glance. But that median price includes master plan communities and smaller lot neighborhoods. Once you step outside of those and into true acreage properties, the numbers quickly change. Luxury homes in Argyle regularly climb into the $2 million to $4 million, even $5 million price range, depending on acreage and quality of build. Right next door, Bartonville has a median home sales price closer to 1.8 million. And currently the highest priced property on the market is 25-acre equestrian estate for around $9.4 million. So while Argyle's median price looks modest on paper, the estate market here operates in a completely different tier.
And not half acre space. We're talking 2, 5, and sometimes 10 acres. Homes set far back from the road. Room for guest houses, room for barns, room for car collections, and room to build something substantial. This is where suburban Texas starts to feel open without feeling cut off from everything else.
Now let's talk about what daily life actually looks like here. Families who live in Argyle and Bartonville aren't here for nightlife. They're here because they like the space. They like knowing their neighbors. They like that their kids can ride bikes down long driveways. They like Friday nights that revolve around school events. You've got places like Marty B's and 407 Barbecue, gathering spots for great food and family. For bigger shopping trips or high-end retail, most residents head to Highland Village, Flower Mound, or Southlake. You're close enough to everything you need, but far enough that your home feels private.
Families who live here love the acreage lifestyle. Real land, usable land, not just a big house on a tight lot. They like Argyle ISD. The schools are strong and the community involvement is high. It feels personal. Parents know each other. They also like proximity to Liberty Christian School. Many families intentionally position themselves near Liberty while still maintaining privacy and space. They also like the flexibility: detached garages, workshops, horses, outdoor kitchens, large gatherings. There's just room to do it all.
Yes, Southlake represents structured suburban prestige, and Flower Mound blends lake living with estate neighborhoods. Argyle and Bartonville are about land, space, and raising a family without feeling crowded. But there's another area that draws a different kind of wealthy family, not for acreage, not for lake access, but for more private, high curated environment. And that's where we're headed to next.
Now, here's the one that doesn't show up on a lot of the wealthiest suburbs list. And that's interesting because when you look at 3 million and above sales, it absolutely belongs in the conversation. Now, we're talking about Westlake. It's small, just over 1,600 residents, and it sits between Southlake and Keller, tucked along Highway 114. You can actually drive right past it and not even realize that you're in it.
The median price home in Westlake is around 3.8 million. Single family luxury homes typically start around 2 million and can climb well above 10 million depending on the community and lot size. Westlake consistently ranks among the wealthiest small towns in Texas by median home price. But what makes Westlake different isn't just the price, it's the structure. There's consistency here. Homes aren't packed in, development is controlled, commercial growth is limited. You won't find strip centers popping up next to neighborhoods, and that matters to the families who live here.
Wealthy families choose Westlake because privacy is built into the design. Guard gates in communities like Vaquero and other estate neighborhoods, limited access points, large setbacks. The town itself prioritizes controlled growth. Also, the club environment. Vaquero is the most well known example, and it's not just golf, it's networking, relationships, and tight social circles. But even outside the club, Westlake tends to attract families who operate at a similar level. Also, Westlake Academy, a small international baccalaureate charter school with a rigorous academic model and small student population. Many families move here specifically for that structure. Also, the central location, about 15 to 20 minutes from DFW Airport and positioned between Dallas and Fort Worth. So, for executives who travel often, that access really matters. Also, peer environment. You're surrounded by executives, founders, professional athletes, and high level operators. That shapes the culture. It's stable, it's focused, and it's long term.
Now, these families can live anywhere. They choose this environment because it's private, it's structured, it's high level, and it attracts wealthy families who value consistency, privacy, and a very specific type of community.
Luxury isn't just one thing. That same $5 million budget looks completely different depending on where you land in Dallas. In the Park Cities, you're buying legacy, location, and established prestige. In Southlake, you're buying top performing schools, an achievement driven community, and a strong retail and restaurant core. In Flower Mound, you're buying lake access, estate pockets, and a family centered environment with a little room to breathe. Now, in Argyle and Bartonville, you're buying acreage, flexibility, and land based lifestyle near sought after schools. In Westlake, you're buying guard gated estate living, private golf, highly structured executive level environment. Same money, different daily experiences.
Which is why clarity matters. The biggest mistake we see is choosing based on price instead of choosing based on how you actually want to live.
Now, before you start scheduling showings on any of these areas, there's something you need to understand. Buying in the Dallas suburbs today is not the same that it was like 5 years ago. In the next video, we're going to share with you what you need to know to make sure that you buy the right home. If you're serious about making a move soon, don't skip that one. So we'll see you over there.